Hi, I am Dr. Abhishek Joshi and today I will be discussing about the topics that is the conditional distribution, the function of one random variable. These functions may be mean, variance, moment and the characteristic function. So these things we are going to cover today in this lecture of digital communication KEC 601. So the conditional probability. What is the conditional probability? The probability of an event B thus depends on whether an event A occurs. So once the event A has been occurred, we will find the probability that what is the probability of B. So that is the conditional probability. So the conditional probability can be denoted as B by A. It can be denoted as probability B by A to denote the probability of the event B when it is known that the event A is already been occurred. So the probability B by A is read as the probability B given A. So this is how we denote the probability, that is a conditional probability. Now let's consider a case. We have n number of trials for an experiment in which the event A occur n1 times. So event A is occurring for n1 times and the event B occurs n2 times. So out of n1 trials, how many events are there? There are n2 times for event B. So how we can write it? We can write the joint probability of A and B, that is the intersection A intersection B, can be written as the limit the n tends to infinity n2 by n1. This means occurrence of the event B n2 times. So here we have the limit, we can write it as the limit n tends to infinity n1 by n, that is the number of times for the event A, that is n1, multiply with n2 by n1. So because out of n1 events we have B event as n2 times. So the conditional probability of B can be written as, that is equals to the probability of A, because n1 by n, that is a total number, and n1 it is nothing but the probability of event A, because n1 times for event A. So we are writing it as the probability of A. And n2 by n1 is nothing but the conditional probability, that once the event A has been occurred, then what is the probability of the event B? So we have this probability B by A. Now we can rearrange it in the form that the probability B by A, or you can say the conditional probability of B given A, is equals to the joint probability, that is A intersection B, divided by the marginal probability of A. Okay. Now let's write this as the probability A by B can be written as probability of A intersection B divided by the probability of B. Similarly, it can be splitted, or it can be written in this form, that the probability, this intersection A intersection B, can be split in terms of the probability of A multiply with probability B by A. So this we have written using this expression. So we have used this expression to write this, and we can again write when the event B has been occurred here and when event A has been occurred. So both, similarly we can write these two expressions for these two events. So probability of B multiply with the probability of A by B and probability of A, and this is known as the Bayes rule. Okay, so this is the Bayes rule, and we are using this Bayes rule to solve the numericals as well. Now we will find the conditional distribution. So based on the conditional probability, we are going to find the conditional distribution. So we have A and B are the two events with a random variable x and y. So we can write this distribution function, that is f of xy, is a joint probability mass function. Why we are calling it as mass function? Because we are denoting it by small f. Okay. So this is the probability mass function of a discrete random variable. So for discrete random variable we have the probability mass function, and generally we are calling it as the probability density function, but for the discrete case we are calling it as probability mass function of the random variable x and y, where these two random variables are the discrete random variables. So we have this probability of x by y. What does it mean, x by y? Means event y has been occurred, and what is the probability of x? So using the Bayes rule we can write it as the joint probability of x and y divided by the marginal probability of y, or it can be written as in form of the joint probability mass function, that is f xy divided by the marginal probability mass function, that is fy, or we can write it in terms of the conditional distribution, that is f of x by y. And the condition is that this denominator should not be 0. So we have this denominator, that is a marginal distribution function, should not be 0. So this fy is the marginal distribution, and the conditional distribution of y is given by fxy by fx. So we have the conditional distribution. Let's take one example. This joint distribution function of x and y, we have the two random variables x and y, and its joint distribution function is given by this table, and it is written that we have to find the marginal distribution of x and y, then we have to find the conditional distribution of y given that x equals to 2. So we will solve this to find the marginal distribution in the discrete random variable. So we have two discrete random variables, that is x and y. For this we will use to find this one. So we have, so here we have to write f of x, that is a marginal distribution of x, and at the bottom you can write f marginal distribution for y. So how to find this? Simply we have to add these to find the marginal distribution of x. So we will get the marginal distribution of x using this. So what we have, 1 by 10 and 1 by 5, LCM will be 10, and we have 1 plus 2, so it will be 3 by 10. So this is the marginal distribution of at x equals to 0. Now the marginal distribution of x at x equals to 1, so it will be 1 by 10, 1 by 5 and 1 by 10. So 1 plus 2 plus 1, that is 4 by 10. So this will be the marginal distribution at x equals to 1, marginal distribution of x at x equals to 1. Similarly for 2 we can find it as 1 by 10, 1 by 5 and 0. So 1 plus 2 will by 10. So that will be 3 by 10. So this is the marginal distribution, or you can say marginal probability of x. Similarly for y we can find, or we can use the next slide. So what we have, for the different values of x we will find the marginal distribution for y, that is for x equals 0, 1 and 2 respectively. So 0 plus 1 by 10 and 1 by 10. So it will be 2 by 10 or 1 by 5. Similarly here we have 10 as LCM. So 1 plus 2 plus 2, that is 4 by 10. So we have 4 by 10 here. Similarly here we have 1 by 5 plus 1 by 10, that is 1 plus 2 by 10, that is 3 by 10. So we have the marginal distribution function f of y for a random variable y, and the marginal distribution function for x. These are the values and these are the values of x. So we can write the marginal distribution in both the cases, that for x equals to 0, 1, 2, we have the marginal distribution of x is given by, or we can form it in form of table. We can write it as what we are getting: 3 by 10, 4 by 10 and 3 by 10. 3 by 10, 4 by 10 and 3 by 10. Similarly, we can write for y, so different values of y, we have 1, 2 and 3. Y is equals to, or in a tabular form we can write it as 0, 1 and 2. We have the values as 1 by 5, 4 by 10 and so f of y and y is 1 by 5, what we get here, 4 by 10 and 3 by 10. Now what we have to find next? We have to find the conditional distribution of y given that x. So what we have to find? We have to find f y by x. Okay, so we have to find for the second part y by x. But here what is the formula? That is a marginal distribution of x we have to take and the joint distribution function x comma y. But at x equals to 2 we have to find, that means we have to substitute here x equals to 2. So we have f of x equals to 2 and y for all the values of y, and the marginal distribution at fx equals to 2. So at x equals to 2, here we can see at x equals to 2 what will be the marginal distribution. So marginal distribution for x is given by, here this is 3 by 10. So we have the value 3 by 10 here for 2, and we have to get the values at x equals to 2. So x equals to 2, the function, the joint distribution function will be 1 by 10, 1 by 5 and 0 respectively. So we will use these values to find it. So at x, the marginal distribution of x at x equals to 2 is 3 by 10. Now using the conditional probability formula, we have 3 by 10, and for all the values are 1 by 10 and 1 by 5. So 1 by 10, another is 1 by 5 and another is 0. So all the three values we have to take to find. So for different values we have 1 by 10 multiply by 10 by 3 and next value is 1 by 5 multiply by 10 by 3, and the third value will be 0. So what we have getting is 1 by 3, second value as 2 by 3 and third value is 0. So this will be the conditional probability that y by x, where x equals to 2. So this is how we solve a numerical based on the conditional distribution. Okay, this is a very simple example of conditional distribution we have discussed. Now the function of one random variable. So this is the another thing we have to understand. The first function we are going to discuss is the mean. So what is the mean? How to find the mean? So very simple concepts which we are studying since class 5th standard, that we have to find the average. The same thing we are going to use it in form of the random variables. So the height, let's consider one example to understand what is mean. So the height of x of every person will be approximated to one of the n numbers, that is x1, x2 up to xn. So if there are m persons of height x, then the average height x is given by, so average can be written as n1 persons are having the height x1, n2 persons are having the height x2, and n persons are having the height xn. So total number of persons are capital N. So we can find the total number as the summation of all the persons with different heights. Okay, so this is the basic formula of the mean. Okay, so this is how we can find the mean of one random variable. So we can split this, or we can rearrange these terms. This is the LCM, so we can split this term as n1 by capital N1 by capital N. So here we have splitted it as capital N1 by N into the value of the height of the person. Then we have the number of persons N2 having the height x2, and divided by total number of persons plus nn by capital N into xn. So but we know that this number, the ratio n1 by capital N, is nothing but the probability. That is the definition of probability, that is the basic definition of probability. So we can use this as n1 by N is equals to the probability of x. So the mean can be written as the summation of I is varying from 1 to n xi, and the probability of x for different values of x, that is xi, x1, x2 up to xn. Now the mean is also called the average value. So we are calling it as average value, or we can call it as the mean value, or we can call it as the expected value. So in case of random variable, we are using this term, that is the expectation of x. So of a random variable x, we are denoting it by expectation of x, or the expected value of x. So the expectation or the expected value is equals to the mean, or you can simply say x bar. So x bar is equals to the expectation of x, and the same formula of mean is there, that is xi multiplied by the probability. Okay. So for continuous, this is for the discrete case. So if you have the discrete random variable, then you have to use this. Otherwise, for continuous random variable, we have to use, that is the integration sign instead of the summation. So this thing we have to keep in mind. When we have the discrete random variable, we have to use the summation. When we have the continuous random variable, we have to use the integration sign. So we have x bar, expectation of x, integration from minus infinity to plus infinity, x px dx. So very simple formula we have to find the mean of one random variable. So to find the mean value of a function of a random variable, so we have to find the mean value. So we have to describe the function of the random variable. So function of the random variable will be x or y. So function will be within that term. So we are defining a function. So where it is required, it is required the mean square amplitude is the mean of the square of the amplitude. So that x square is nothing but the function. So we are giving this name to the function, that is g is another function, y is another function. We can use any of these functions. So let's take x be a discrete random variable. So first we are considering the discrete case of the discrete random variable that have the values x1, x2 up to xn with the probabilities px1, px2 up to pxn respectively. So let x be the discrete random variable that takes the values x1, x2 up to xn with the probabilities. So we have the probabilities that the probability of x1 is the px1, the probability of the x2 value will be probability of x2, and similarly for xn we have the probability of xn respectively. So but we are defining a function, that is y. Y is a function is holding the random variable x. Okay. So y takes the values, that is gx1, gx2 up to gxn. So we are defining the in terms of the function for each and every value of the random variable x, that is x1, x2 up to xn. With the probabilities, we have the probability of x1, probability of x2, and probability of xn. Okay. Now for discrete case, we are defining the function. Okay. So for discrete case, we have this function, that is the mean of this function is written as gx bar, or we can write it as, for discrete case, that is the summation sign. This we have already discussed. For all values of I, that is gxi, and the probability of this function pxi. In case of continuous random variable, when we are considering x is a continuous random variable, then x bar is equals to gx bar. And for continuous, we have to use the integration sign. So integration sign we are using, from the limits is from minus infinite to plus infinite, g of x, p of x dx. Okay. So this is for the continuous random variable, this is for the discrete case. Let's take one example, that for a sinusoidal generator that is given by the time dependent function, it can be written as a cos of omega t. Now for this case, we have the signal which is generated by this sine wave generator, and using the voltmeter we are sensing it. So we have to find the mean square value of this signal or the function, and whose probability is within the range, that is 0 to 2 pi, where we are considering this theta as omega t, and this theta, since it is dependent on theta, so the probability will be dependent on this random variable theta, but the range is from 0 to 2 pi, whose amplitude is given by 1 upon 2 pi. Now to find the mean of this function, so mean of the function is equals to, as we know that using this identity, since it is a continuous function, so what we have to use, the integration sign from minus infinite to plus infinite, g of x, and multiply with the probability. So what we can write, that is the mean, so mean or the x bar, we can write it as, that is equals to the integration minus infinity to plus infinity, then xt and the probability p theta and d theta or d omega. Okay. So this is how we can write. So what it will be? So we have this amplitude 1 upon 2 pi for the range 0 to 2 pi. So limit will be from, instead of this we are writing the limit 0 to 2 pi, and xt is given by a cos omega t, so a cos of omega t, and p theta is 1 upon 2 pi, which will be acting as constant, and d omega. Now this 1 upon 2 pi we can take it outside, and for the entire limit, if we integrate this cos of omega t for the limit 0 to 2 pi, it will be 0. So mean will be 0. Okay. Similarly, we can find the square, that is the mean square, x square we can find. So if we find the x square, this term will be x square. So for x square case you can solve, but it will not be 0. So what it will be? It will be simply, I'll solve it. For you, the mean square value for the sinusoidal generator is given by x bar square, that is equals to, or the expectation of x square for the function g of x 0 to 2 pi, because this function is varying from 0 to 2 pi, then we have xt square, then p theta and d omega. So if we solve it, what we are getting is theta, p theta will be 1 upon 2 pi, so it will be 1 upon 2 pi, integration from 0 to 2 pi, and a cos omega t whole square will be a square, so a square will be constant, so I am taking it outside. Cos of, so cos square omega t and d theta omega. So if we have this cos square, so cos square can be written it as 1 plus cos 2 theta by 2. Okay. So cos theta, here theta is omega t, so we are written omega cos 2 omega to d omega. We can separate these two terms, and what we have is, here I am writing, so if we separate it, we have the integration from 0 to 2 pi. So but the second term cos 2 theta integration will be 0, and what is left is a square by 2 pi and the integration 0 to 2 pi and 1 d omega. But the limit, if we integrate, it is simply omega and upper limit minus lower limit, so what we are getting is simply square by this 1 by 2 is also there, so 1 by 2 will take outside because it's a constant term, and the limits we are substituting, what we are getting is upper limit 2 pi minus lower limit will be 0, and this 2 pi multiplied by 2. So the 2 pi will be cancelled out, and the mean square value will be a square by 2. So this is the expectation of x square, or you can say the gx square or xt square. So this is how we find the mean square value for a random variable x which is varying randomly. Now the moments. Now we'll define what are the moments. The nth moment of the random variable x is defined as the mean of x raised to power n. Thus this is the nth central moment of x. So it can be written as the x raised to power n bar, since it is an expected value, that is equals to, for the continuous we have the integration from minus infinite to plus infinite x raised to power n px dx. So the nth central moment of a random variable x is defined as the x minus x bar raised to power n and whole bar. Whole bar will be the average of this subtraction, that is x minus x bar. So for continuous we can write, for the mean value or the expected value, we have to take integration from minus infinite to plus infinite x minus x bar raised to power n px dx. Now this another function is the variance. So how to find what is variance and how to find it, we'll see. So the second central moment, so central moment about n we have defined nth moment. So nth moment is given by this expression. So we have the second central moment of a random variable x is called the variance. So second central moment will be, so a value of n will be simply 2. So here we can write n equals to 2 and we are getting the same expression. So simply we have to replace n by 2, we are getting this. So this is the second central moment of the random variable x is denoted by, and we are denoting this variance by sigma x square, where sigma x is the standard deviation. So this is known as the standard deviation, and sigma x square is defined as the variance. So we have the expression of the second central moment, we can write it as x minus x bar whole square, which is nothing but the integration from minus infinite to plus infinite, then what we have x square, then the probability of x dx. So this is the second central moment of the function. Or we can solve it further. How we can solve it? And we have this whole bar also. Okay, so what will be the expression? X minus x bar. I forgot to write it here, sorry for that. We can further solve it as x minus x bar, or you can say a minus b whole square can be written as x square minus x bar square, sorry, plus minus 2x x bar and whole bar. Okay, So if you further solve it, so what we have, the x square bar plus x bar whole square and again bar, then minus 2 x bar and x bar of bar. Okay. So what we have, average of the same value average will be simply the average only. So what we have is, we have simply x square bar plus x bar whole square minus 2 x bar square. So we have plus x bar square minus 2 x bar square. So it will be minus x square. So simply our equation will be reduced as sigma x square, that is the variance, that is equals to x square bar minus x bar square. So this is the variance, or it can be written as the expectation of x square minus the expectation of x whole square. Okay. So this is also sigma x square. Now the final function is the characteristic function. So how to define the characteristic function? The characteristic function is given by, or we are denoting it by phi xt, and for discrete case, as we know, we are defining it by the summation sign and exponential iota tx and the density function f of x when x is discrete. When x is continuous random variable, so integration from minus infinity to plus infinity e raised to power iota tx, the density function f of x dx. This is for x is continuous case. So what we have covered in today's lecture is the conditional distribution and how we have used the Bayes theorem to find the conditional distribution. Based on that, we have solved one example, how to find the marginal distribution, and then how to use the marginal distribution to find the conditional distribution. Then we have covered the function of one random variable, that is the mean, variance, moment, and the characteristics function. So here we are going to stop our lecture. Thank you.